Hey guys, Ezra Rozier here. Wearing my Steve Van Buren jersey, legendary Eagle. Hope he's resting well. And I hope you all enjoyed your Thanksgiving yesterday because I sure did. I sure did. Two very good things happened for the Eagles yesterday. The Saints lost. They got pummeled by the Buffalo Bills. This was their fourth loss in a row. They are now 5-6. That is very good news for us because the Saints are one of our rivals for a wild card spot. And as you all know, we hold a potential tiebreaker over them due to the fact that we kicked their butt on Sunday. Ooh, God, I hate the Saints. I hate the Saints. That win felt so good. Just remembering 3 years ago when the Saints were up 38-7 in the fourth quarter at New Orleans, when they threw that touchdown pass on a 4th and 7 play, a 4th and 7 to go up 45-7. Ooh. It felt good dropping 40 points on them. Ooh, that felt good. I didn't like how we took our foot off the gas in the second half of that game. We got way too conservative in that second half. I didn't like that. We took our foot off the gas. You cannot do that. You can't do that, Nick Sirianni. He acknowledged it after the game in the locker room. It's good that he acknowledged it, but I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see that. And, of course, more importantly, them Cowboys! Them Cowboys! The Cowboys lost yesterday. They fell in overtime at home to the Las Vegas Raiders. This is their third straight loss on Thanksgiving. And it is just so funny. It is so funny seeing all these Dallas Cowboy fans complain about the refs. It is just like that game back in week 1 when they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is just like that. They're saying, oh, the referees, we were getting called all game long. Oh, we lost a fumble that should have counted. Okay, first of all, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't both teams get penalized 14 times? Didn't both teams get penalized for over 100 yards? Am I wrong about that? Am I wrong? Secondly, I saw a ton of penalties going against the Raiders. First of all, there was one penalty where they threw a pass interference on the Raiders. And the fact is, that ball thrown by Dak Prescott, it was an uncatchable ball. They threw a pass interference on an uncatchable ball. And then there's this one play where the Raiders offensive lineman, all he did was bob his head. He bobbed his head and they got called for a false start, I believe. A false start just for bobbing their head. So, Cowboy fans, don't act like there was only bad calls against you guys, because I saw plenty of bullcrap calls against the Raiders. In fact, I thought that Dallas got away with a ton of holding in this game, too. Now, there were some bad penalties against Dallas, like the one roughing the passer called against Micah Parsons. That was a bad penalty. I'm not going to lie about that. But the fact is, you guys aren't talking about Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown. What a performance by Anthony Brown yesterday. 4 pass interference penalties, all on third down. Round of applause. Round of applause for Anthony Brown. Round of applause, man. You were the player of the game, man. Man, shout out to you. Special shout out to you, Anthony Brown. You really showed up on Thanksgiving, man. Anthony Brown and Greg Zuerlein. He missed an extra point early in this game, which came back to bite the Cowboys. You guys aren't talking about that. Nope, you guys want to blame the refs. It is just like you did when you lost to Tampa Bay Buccaneers earlier. It is just like that. Cowboy fans, the refs. They're just like Saints fans. Cowboy fans, they're like Saints fans. They love blaming the refs. And now all of a sudden now, the NFC East is getting very, very interesting. It's getting very interesting. A few weeks ago, the Cowboys were 6-1. And around that same time, the Eagles, they were 2-5, which was our worst start since 1999, the year that Andy Reid got hired. Now, all of a sudden, the Eagles, they have a real shot to potentially compete for this division. The Eagles, they have a shot to sneak in and take this division from Dallas. The Cowboys aren't running away with this division. They're not going to run away with it now. And which brings me to the main point of this video. The Eagles, they have this Sunday, the Eagles, they will be involved in a very chippy and a very high emotion game coming on Sunday. The Eagles will go into MetLife and take on the New York Giants, the 3-7 New York Giants. And this team, the Giants hate the Eagles more than any other team. I don't think it's even close. I don't think it's close at all. The Giants, they can't stomach the Eagles. This team hates our guts. They despise us. The Giants, they would love nothing more than to just punch us in the mouth. We all remember what happened last season where in week 17, the Eagles, they were already eliminated from playoff contention. And the Giants, they were sitting at 6-10. It's crazy. The Giants were 6-10 heading into the last week of the final. Last season, they were 6-10 after this final week. And they had a possibility to get into the playoffs at 6-10. That's pretty crazy. So the Eagles, we're already eliminated from the playoffs. The Giants, they're 6-10. They need us to beat Washington to get into the playoffs because Washington was sitting at 6-9. And if Washington had lost to the Eagles, they would have fallen to 6-10 as well. And because the Giants swept Washington, they would have won the tiebreaker and the Giants win the division. They get into the playoffs. And the Eagles, we threw that game to Washington and we lost that game on purpose. We pulled Hurts out the game when we were down by 3 points. And we basically tried to lose that game. Everybody saw it. We tried to lose. And the Giants fans, they were furious at us. They were furious at us. The Giants organization, their fans, they were livid at the Eagles. And the thing that just really confounds me, the thing that really confounded me about that whole thing is that these insufferable Giants fans, this miserable fan base, they really had the audacity. They really had the nerve. They really had the cojones to think that we actually owed them a playoff spot. What the heck? We didn't owe you squat. We didn't owe you squat. Bruh. The Giants and the Eagles have been beefing since 1933 when the Birds were founded. The very first game the Eagles ever played, we lost 56-0 to the Giants. All right. These teams, they have a long history. We have a long history of a very bitter rivalry with the Giants. And you insufferable Giants fans, you thought that your longtime rival, the Eagles, a team that hates you and you hate them, you really thought that we owed you a playoff spot? What the heck are you on? What were you guys on? Were you just like, oh, that's some good stuff, man? Oh. They really thought that we owed them a playoff spot. Bruh, maybe if you won more than 6 games, you wouldn't need our help. Maybe if Evan Ingram didn't drop a pass in Philadelphia that would have sealed the game for you guys earlier this season, you wouldn't need our help. I was at that game. The game where Daniel Jones ran 80 yards, and he tripped when nobody was going to catch him. It was a wide open touchdown, and he trips. The Giants, you really are blaming us when you finished the season 6-10. 6-10. You only won 6 games, and you're blaming us for costing you the playoffs? Really, Giants fans. I really don't like Giants fans. And it's funny because I actually have a lot of friends who are Giants fans. In fact, both of my parents are Giants fans. Try to figure that one out. Both of my parents are Giants fans, and I ended up being an Eagles fan. But I like how things turned out. But the fact is, the Giants fans, they were really trying to ask for help from a hated division rival. We didn't owe you guys anything. It's not our fault you missed the playoffs. You only won 6 games. Don't cry and blame us for you guys missing the playoffs when you only won 6 games. Win more games next time. Like I said before, at Evan Ingram, the Giants were up 21-10 in the 4th quarter at Lincoln Financial Field in that game. I was there. I was at that game. I was watching it. And we came back to win 22-21. An 11-point lead with like 4 minutes left in the game, and the Giants, they still found a way to blow it. That's not our fault. Win more games. And then, of course, we all remember what happened after that when the Eagles, they traded up in front of the Giants to snatch Devontae Smith. And I'm still just confounded that the Cowboys helped us do that. The Cowboys of all teams. The Cowboys helped us do that, which is just baffling to me. And anyway, these Giants fans. So this whole offseason, what happened against Washington, us throwing that game and then us trading up to draft Devontae Smith, The Giants, they had this game circled on their calendar. In fact, personally, I wanted us to open up against the Giants at MetLife. But the league, it wasn't in the cards. Things didn't turn out that way. So here we are in this game. So the Giants, they're going to put a lot of energy into this game. They always play the Eagles hard. The Giants, they always play us hard. But this game, I think they will take a special urgency to win this game against us because they are also retiring Strahan's jersey at halftime in this game. They retired Eli Manning's jersey earlier in the season against the Falcons, a game that they lost. So I'm sure that they're definitely going to be really hyped up for this game being against the Eagles, a team who screwed them twice in a span of like 4 months. So my keys to this game are simple. Daniel Jones is absolutely horrible. Daniel Jones sucks. He's garbage. In fact, did you guys see that game on Monday night when they were playing the Giants? They were playing the Buccaneers. This man, Daniel Jones, threw one of the worst interceptions you'll ever see in your life. In fact, you guys, so that playoff game against the Packers, 4th and 26, it was our first playoff game at Lincoln Financial Field. That game went to overtime. And Brett Favre threw an interception. There was no Packers in the area. He threw it right to Brian Dawkins. That interception that Daniel Jones threw on Monday night, it was just like that. He threw it right to the defender. Like, who are you throwing to? And another thing about Daniel Jones, this man is a turnover waiting to happen. He has 49 turnovers in 37 games. 49 turnovers in 37 games. This man averages 2 turnovers a game. He is a fumble machine in particular. Like you know how we were blitzing Trevor Siemian in that first half against the Saints? Probably the best blitzing that we've done all year. You have to bring that kind of pressure against Daniel Jones. You have to blitz him to hell and back, man. Like, bring the house. Like, send all the pressure on Daniel Jones because he is a turnover waiting to happen. He will fumble the ball. If you give him an opportunity, he will fumble. Send the house, and I am sure that he will cough up that ball. I remember that game that I previously mentioned before last year at Philly when we were playing the Giants. We were up by 1. It was like the final minutes of the game. Brandon Graham, he comes up and he forces a strip sack on Daniel Jones. We recover the ball. This guy, he turns over the ball at an astounding rate. So you got to send the pressure. Now, as we all know, Jason Garrett was fired from his job as the Giants offensive coordinator. So we're not sure how this team is going to respond to that. I think that makes this game a little bit more interesting. And Freddie Kitchens, I believe he actually called a game for the Giants last year. I think it was against Cleveland. But we're not sure how they're going to respond to this coaching change. So the defense, you guys stay focused, all right? Try to get pressure. Jonathan Gannon, I thought he's been doing a very good job these last 2 games ever since he crapped the bed against the Chargers. I thought that he was doing very good. The Giants' offense is anemic. It's an anemic offense. They paid all these guys like Kenny Golladay and wasn't there somebody else? Like the Minnesota Vikings receiver. It was some guy from the Vikings that they paid for. They paid all this money on offense and they're 3-7. 3-7, that's an L. That's an L to me. So the Giants offense is anemic. Saquon Barkley, he's been banged up. I don't fear Saquon Barkley, even though the Eagles, they've been very pitiful against the run this year. And now let's talk about our offense. So I really like how we match up against the Giants because we just came off of a 240-yard plus rushing game against the league's top-ranked rush defense. We absolutely bulldozed the Saints. We bulldozed them. They couldn't stop the run. They could not stop the run. We were shoving the ball down their throat, and they couldn't do anything about it. And my thing is, if we did that to the top-ranked rushing defense in the New Orleans Saints, who could stop us? Who could stop us, by the way? Who can stop us on the run? We can run the ball on anybody. If you can run the ball on the Saints, you can run the ball on anyone. Because while the Saints offense was injured, they didn't have Winston, they didn't have Michael Thomas, they didn't have Alvin Kamara. Their defense, for the most part, was relatively healthy. They were pretty healthy. And we were able to do that against their top-ranked rushing defense. Who can stop our run? Really, who can stop our run? Now, Jordan Howard, he will be out of this game. I think he had an ankle injury, but no worries, no worries. Because you want to know why? We have Boston Scott. Boston Scott, who owns the New York Giants. Boston Scott is, I don't know why, but Boston Scott, his best games are always against the New York Giants. He has 6 touchdowns against the Giants in 4 games. In 2019, the season finale, when we won the division, I think he had 3 touchdowns in that game. And I just think it is so poetic how the smallest eagle, Boston Scott, the smallest eagle, he's the one that slays the team called the Giants. I just love that. I love that. So we got Boston Scott, the Giants' daddy, because he's your daddy, Giants. Let's face it. Boston Scott is your daddy. And we have Miles Sanders, who returned against the Saints. He fumbled twice in that game. I know the first one they recovered, but the second time, the refs, they blew the play dead, but it looked like he fumbled again. You got to work on that, Sanders. Sanders has had a fumbling problem since his rookie year, honestly. I remember against the Detroit Lions in 2019, he fumbled twice in 4 plays. I really like Sanders. I really do, but he's got to get the fumbles out of control. And speaking of which, I haven't really been praising. Really, you got to give a lot of credit to this Eagles offensive line. Because this offensive line, they are playing their minds out. They are playing out of their minds. They are playing with all the heart that they have. Special shout out to Jordan Mailata for going at it with that Saints defensive lineman. He was really fighting with this dude because he pushed Hurts out of bounds late, and Jordan Mailata's like, whoa, you're not going to do that to my quarterback, bro. That's not going to fly. Don't do that. And he's really fighting with this dude. And then this man destroyed Cam Jordan with one hand. One hand. He put Cam Jordan on his butt with one hand. And special shout out to Landon Dickerson, too, the rookie draft pick, the very controversial draft pick, by the way. He's been playing very well. I almost forgot that Isaac Seumalo was injured. And I almost forgot that we're missing Brandon Brooks right now. Landon Dickerson is doing a very good job. This offensive line, you really got to give it to them. Last year, this offensive line was terrible. The injuries were awful. Carson Wentz got sacked 50 times. I can't remember how many times Jalen Hurts got sacked last year, but we had the worst offensive line in the league. And to see them have a resurgence like this, it is incredible. And also, Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott had a terrible year last year. He's been amazing this year. He was named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Like, I'm really saying this Eagles team is not the same team. This is not the same team that got blown out against the Cowboys. It's not the same team that got blown out by the Buccaneers and Raiders. This is a new team. We are a running the football team. We're going to smash you in the mouth. We're going to wear you down. We're going to keep your offense off the field. Like, who wants a piece of this running offense? Who wants a piece of this run game? Who wants a piece of it? Do you want a piece of it, Giants? Because we'll gladly give it to you. And I want to go more into the passing offense. So these last few weeks, we basically, the only passes it's like we've only been throwing to Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. Those two are studs. But I would like to see us incorporate Quez Watkins more because he is a burner. That guy is a deep threat. He will burn you for like a 50-yard touchdown. And he's been open quite a few times. Jalen Hurts just hasn't seen him. We really got to incorporate Quez Watkins and these other receivers. Jalen Reagor finished this game against the Saints with -1 yard. He also finished the game with negative yardage against the Chargers, -6 yards. And now, I'm getting concerned about Reagor, but we keep trying the same screenplay with Reagor that hasn't worked since the Week 1 game in Atlanta, and we keep losing yards on it. Why can't we try something different with Reagor? Like, I admit, Reagor has been disappointing, but try something different, man. Now, Reagor, you got to do better, though, because even on your punt returns aren't really shot. Your punt returns aren't blowing me away. You're not really like standing out to me on punt returns. And you were lethal in college on punt returns. In TCU, you were deadly on punt returns. And I'm just not really seeing anything from you because last year you returned the punt at Green Bay And I'm thinking like, yeah, man, this is the explosive Jalen Reagor that he can be, but we're not seeing it. I really need to see more from you, Jalen Reagor. In fact, the umbrella man made a big play. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who has been ridiculed to absolutely no end, he made a big play on third down when we were really struggling. The Saints, they had scored like 15 unanswered points, and our offense, they were sputtering in that fourth quarter. And then on third down, umbrella man makes the big play. Umbrella man, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. So you got to give him credit for that. But listen, this passing game, we need to open up this passing game against the Giants because they're going to fear to run. The Giants will fear to run. So I think that with them selling out to the run, stacking the box, it will give a lot of time for Jalen Hurts